Assalamualaikum viewers, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to make a very beautiful flower dress for a 5-year girl and with a bubble hem. I'm using the silk fabric for this dress. It's white silk and net fabric. It's very fine net and this silk fabric will be used less than 1 yard and the net fabric will be used 2 yards, and we need half yard of this maroon colored silk fabric as well for the petals and the bodies. And apart from the silk fabric and the net fabric, we need lining for bodies and the skirt and a small amount of cancan as well. So you better use the matching lining fabric. I'm just using the piece I had, the spare piece I had. So let's get started. First of all, we'll take 2 pieces of lining fabric and join them together and pleat them down to the waist measurement. So I've joined these 2 pieces of lining fabric. The length of the lining fabric is 15 inches. It is 1 inch less than the total length of the skirt we want. So I've pleated the lining fabric down to the waist measurement plus 1 inch for seam allowance and hemmed the bottom as well. Now we'll attach cancan to the lining fabric. I took 10 inches long cancan piece, and it's just one strip because we won't pleat it. The width of the cancan fabric is 60 inches, but we'll attach it at the end when the skirt would be ready. Now we'll get the main part of the skirt ready. So this is the silk fabric and this is the total amount of white silk fabric we need. It is folded in front of me right now. The length is 25 inches. And it is 60 inches white fabric. Now we'll fold the fabric from one corner to the other side like this to make a triangle as we do in a half circle skirt. And now we'll mark for the waist and the length of the skirt. 1/4 of the waist is 5.5 inches in my case, so we'll place the inch tape like this and check out where 5.5 inches lies. It lies at 7 inches from the corner, so we'll mark at 7 inches for the waist, and then for the full length we'll add 7 inches to the full length we want. So I marked at 23 inches and cut at these 2 lines. So this is our half circle skirt. This is the right side of the skirt, and now we'll hem the bottom of the skirt. We'll fold the bottom twice and make a stitch line. So I've hemmed the bottom. And now we'll get the petals ready to be attached at the bottom of the skirt. So I took this strip of fabric, it's on fold, and the fabric was 60 inches wide. And this is one strip. We need 4 strips in total of the same size. The width of the strip is 2.5 inches. We need 4 strips of the same size. First of all, we'll cut this strip from the center so it can be easily cut by the scissor, right? Then fold this strip 3 or 4 times like this so that you get a rectangular shape. So it is 2.5 inches long and 2 inches wide. And now we'll cut all these strips together to give them a petal shape. So it should be narrow at the bottom, round from the top, like this. So if there is any uncut fabric at the side, you can cut it like so. So I've cut so many petals at the same time. We'll do the same for the other half of the strip, and we need 4 strips in total. So I've cut all the petals from the 4 strips of fabric, and now we'll use this candle to secure the edges of the petal and bend them a little bit. So simply the right side of the petal is facing us. Pass the petal over the flame. The petal should be a bit above the flame. It should not be touching the flame, right? It's important. So in this way the edges will be secured and the petal will bend a little bit. So it will be looking exactly like a petal. It's not a time taking process. It needs a half an hour of your time, and if you have a helping hand, obviously it will be done even earlier, so it's not at all difficult to do. So we'll do the same for all the petals. So I've secured the edges of all the petals, as you can see here. Now it's time to attach the petals to the bottom of our skirt. So we'll use the glue gun and simply place the petals in place. I'm using just 1 drop of glue to fix the petals in place by now, but later on I'll secure them from 2 or 3 edges as well. So just to know the place of the petals, we'll first attach them using only 1 drop of glue. So now after attaching a few petals, we'll fix them from other edges as well, like this. And we'll attach all the petals in the same way throughout the bottom of the skirt. So I've attached the petals throughout the bottom, and now I'm removing the tails of the glue so they can be easily removed at the end. So now this part of our skirt is ready, and we'll attach net fabric to this skirt now. So we'll take this net fabric. So I took 2 pieces of net fabric. Both these pieces are 60 inches wide. The width of the net fabric was 60 inches. So both the pieces are 60 inches wide. And we'll join them together and gather them from the top. But before that, I tell you the length of this net fabric. The length of the net fabric should be twice the length of silk skirt. So our silk skirt was 16 inches long. So the net fabric should be twice this measurement. It means it should be 32 inches long. So you can see here this net fabric is 32 inches long. So I took 2 pieces of net fabric, and both the pieces are 32 inches long, and the width of the net fabric is 60 inches. Now we'll join these 2 pieces together. So I've joined these 2 pieces. I'll trim the extra fabric from here, and now gather from the top. For gathering the net fabric, I'll use a running stitch with needle and thread. Running stitch is also called straight stitch. So we simply move the needle up and down the fabric, and like this. So running stitch just takes 10 to 15 minutes of your time, but it makes your work easier. So it's good to go for a running stitch before gathering the fabric directly on machine. So I've gathered the fabric from the top, and there is extra thread with which we'll adjust the gathers while stitching it on the main skirt. Now we'll do the same for the bottom part of the net. We'll gather the net fabric from the bottom as well as we did from the top. So as you can see, there is also extra thread at one end, so we can adjust the gathers. So the net fabric is gathered from the top as well as from the bottom. And now we'll attach it to the main part of our skirt, or the silk skirt. So we'll simply attach the net fabric from the silk fabric at the waistline. So the top part of the net fabric will be attached to the waistline of the main skirt. We'll stitch it here. So I've stitched the net fabric here by adjusting the gathers, and the bottom part of the net will also be attached to the waist part, but from the wrong side. So you can see here like this. So the bottom of the net is also attached to the waistline, but from the wrong side. So it will create a bubble hem at the bottom. So again we'll adjust the gathers and stitch the bottom part of the net to the waistline on machine. So I stitched it as well. So this is how it's looking. So the net fabric is at the right side as well as on the wrong side as well. So this is the bubble hem. It's looking like this. And now join all the layers of the fabric from both the sides. So stitch here and join all the layers here and stitch. And after stitching the side, we'll first attach the lining and cancan part under the skirt. So this is the lining we got ready at first. We'll place the skirt here and join them together at the waistline. So I've joined the lining as well. And now this is the wrong side. Now we'll attach cancan on the lining here. So now it will be easy to attach cancan. So this is the cancan we need. It's 10 inches long, as I told you before, and this is just one strip of cancan that is 60 inches wide. We won't pleat cancan, we'll just simply stitch it on lining. Just stretch the lining fabric like this so there are no pleats under the stitch line, and we'll attach the cancan on it. So you can see I'm attaching cancan 3 or 4 inches down the waistline and simply stretch this lining fabric so the pleats are open and stitch cancan on it. So this part of skirt is also ready. Now our skirt is done. Now we'll get the bodice ready to be attached on it. For the bodice, I took 2 pieces of lining fabric. The front bodice is 11 inches long and 15 inches wide. And the back bodice is equally long but 16 inches wide. So we'll keep this extra 1 inch at the center back where we need the seam allowance for the zip. And now we'll mark for the shoulders first. We mark half of the shoulder. If the shoulder is 11 inches long, we'll mark at 5.5 inches. And for the armhole, I marked at 6 inches. It's half of armhole round. Extend these 2 points like this. And now at this point we'll mark for the chest. We mark 1/4 of the chest. I marked at 6 inches, and at 1 inch I marked for cutting. And for the waist, we'll also mark for 1/4 of the waist, and at 1 inch I marked for cutting. From this cutting mark, we'll draw a shape for back armhole and a bit deeper for front armhole like this. Now we'll mark for the neckline. I'm taking 3 inches width and depth of the neckline. You can keep it as per your choice. 2.5 is sufficient for a 5-year girl, but I'm keeping it a bit deeper. So I'm marking at 3 inches for its width and 3 inches for its depth. And the front and back neckline is equal in my case, so it can be shorter for the back neckline. Now we'll cut at the neckline and back armhole first and the side, separate the back part and cut front armhole. So we have cut the lining for the bodice, and now we'll cut the main silk fabric of the bodice using this as pattern. So I've cut the silk fabric taking it as pattern. The bodice is maroon silk fabric, right? Now I have placed the lining on the right side of the silk fabric and we'll attach it at the neckline and armhole. And for the back part, we'll make 2 stitch lines at the center back as well. So I've attached the lining from the neckline and the armhole, and I've made 2 stitch lines at the center back as well. Now we'll cut from the center here and make a few notches and turn the right side out. We'll just turn the right side of back bodice out only and not the front bodice by now, and give it a very nice press. So I've pressed the back bodice. And now we'll insert the back bodice into the front bodice and stitch the shoulders. So lining should be facing the lining and main fabric should be facing the main fabric. So pull the shoulder here, adjust the shoulders in place and stitch here. Do the same for the other half of the back part. You can also use a safety pin to insert the back bodice into the right bodice. It would be easier. So stitch at the shoulders. After stitching the shoulders, give a few notches at the front neckline and pull the back bodice out. So the right side of the front bodice is also turned out. And now the shoulders are done, as you can see, from the right side as well as from the wrong side. Now press the front bodice as well. So I've pressed the front bodice and match the right sides of front and back bodice together like this and stitch the sides. And for that, simply open the bodice like this, match main fabric to main fabric and lining to lining like this and stitch here. So it will be nicely finished from inside as well as outside. So I've stitched it. As you can see, it's looking very nice. From the wrong side as well, no seam is visible. Open the seam and give a very nice press here. So the fabric is not gathered at one side, right? So open the seam and give it a press and stitch the lining and the main bodice from the bottom as well here. So I've attached the lining to the bodice at the bottom as well. Now this is the skirt and the bodice. We'll join the right sides together and leaving a ½ inch at the side, we'll attach the bodice to the skirt because the side of the skirt is not finished yet. So we'll leave a ½ inch seam allowance at the side and stitch the bodice to the waistline here. So I've stitched the bodice to the skirt and now we'll stitch the sides of the skirt as well. So fold the skirt like this and all the layers should be aligned like this. And stitch the side, leaving a 3 to 4 inches opening at the top. So I've stitched the side and I left 3-4 inches long opening at the top for the zip to go in. Turn the right side out. So this is how our frock is looking like. It's looking very nice. So this is the front part, and at the back part we'll simply fold this extra fabric inside and finish this opening as well. And after finishing this opening, we'll just place a zipper under this opening and top stitch it. So start stitching from this side and stitch down to this point, and then start stitching from the other side at the top here and then stitch down to the bottom. So I've stitched the zip in place. So this is how it's looking like. And now our dress is ready. We'll just attach a flower at the waistline for its decoration. So we'll get a flower ready. For the flower, we'll use the same petals we made earlier. Just tie a knot at one end and we'll insert all the petals in one thread like this. So these are just like the beads in a string. These are 30 petals I'm using right now, and pull the thread to adjust the petals in place. And now with the help of glue gun, apply it on the bottom of the petals and then fold this string like this twice. So the flower is ready. So these are 3 layers of petals now, and simply fix it with the help of glue gun from 3 or 4 places. and the flower is ready. We'll attach a few beads at the center of this flower here, and then adjust it on the waistline and fix it with a glue gun, or you can also hand stitch it. It would be more secure, but it's your choice. I'm using glue gun right now and fix it in place. Secure it from a few sides if you're using glue gun. So this is the final look of the dress. I hope you like the video. Thumbs up if you do, and make sure to subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet. And it's looking very nice, must try it. And thank you so much for watching, and Allah Hafiz till the next video.